Good day and welcome to the October 2025 OHS&E newsletter, where you get news updates and related OHS&E information. In this month's edition, we're going to be having a look at electrical safety awareness, ADHD in the workplace, breast cancer awareness, habitat and climate. First off, let's look at electrical safety. What are the key concepts around it? Why electrical safety matters. Preventing electrocutions, burns and fires. It reduces downtime in terms of equipment damage. Ensuring that it's compliant with safety regulations. So, for example, the Occupational Health and Safety Act and the SANS regulations and any other codes of practice that need to be followed. Common electrical hazards include exposed wiring, overloading of circuits, wet condition near electrical equipment, improper grounding, and faulty or damaged tools and wiring. If we have a look at some of the safe practices around that we should be following, a lockout or tagging system, which is also referred to as LOTO, always de-energize equipment before maintenance, using the correct PPE, making sure that amongst others you have insulating gloves, safety boots and anti-arc clothing, so that you do not actually that the fibers are not actually contributing to any electrical current that's in the air. Inspecting tools and cords before using, or keeping water away from electrical sources and not submerging electrical equipment into water where they should not be. Reporting hazards immediately, making sure that you know that you need to actually report this and how. What is the proper procedure in terms of reporting in your specific area? The emergency procedures around working in and around electrical equipment. Make sure that you know how to switch the power off safely. And if there's somebody that is caught, that has been electrocuted and you can't get to the power, make sure that you have a non-conductive object or material such as wood where you can use, but do not touch the person or the source of the electrical. Make sure that you call for the emergency services, so like your first aiders, or if you need the paramedic, or if you need the emergency services. But also make sure that if you do call in the emergency services, that the campus protection services or the security are aware that these people will be coming onto site. Training and compliance. Regularly receive safety training and refreshers where people are working with electricity on a regular basis, and understanding that if something is tripping in your area, this is not normal. There is a fault somewhere and we need to make sure that we're looking out for it before an incident or something occurs, like a fire or somebody gets electrocuted, etc., etc. Follow the company policies, the emergency response plan for the university or for your specific area, and participate in evacuation drills and emergency drills, thereby encouraging a safe culture for everybody in the organization. Now we're going to have a look at ADHD in the workplace and how people with attention deficit hyperactivity disorder can be helped within their area. Now remember, this is just a brief overview. This is an awareness. If a person does suffer from ADHD or the manager of that person needs help, they need to then reach out to Life Health Solutions as part of the employee wellness program. But just a brief overview. So what is ADHD? So you do have inattentive types who have difficulty focusing or have forgetfulness. And then you get hyperactivity impulse types who are restless and impulsive when doing things. Or you can get a combination of all three. All right. So common work challenges for people battling with ADHD might be that they have difficulty in time management and prioritizing things. So they may need a bit of help with that. They have trouble maintaining focusing during long meetings or tasks that are repetitive or long tasks. Forgetfulness and misplacing items. Well, I think that would be half the population at the moment. So we also need to be very careful where you're actually stipulating that people might have ADHD as well. So they feel overwhelmed by complex or multi-step tasks, struggle with impulse control and emotional regulations. So some of the things that could help a person with ADHD, looking at the strengths of somebody with ADHD, they're often very, very creative. They're out-of-the-box thinkers. They're high energy and enthusiastic. Their ability to hyper-focus on tasks of interest are very, very strong. They have strong problem-solving skills, and they're resilient and adaptable. Supporting people who have ADHD for the employees and the teams. Remember, because we don't always just work singular, we've got to interact with people. So in teams, if teams understand it, they can also help out, because a strong team should be made up of different classifications of people, introverts, extroverts, people that have got strong creative sides, and people that are strategic thinkers and things like that. So these people would need flexible working hours, using task management tools that can assist them. They need clearly written instructions, and to also manage their expectations, and for the bosses to know that they can expect this type of work from the individual. Regular check-ins with the individual and with the management and with the team, and giving feedbacks. And a big one for all of us, not just people that are battling with ADHD or hypersensitivity or anything like that, is we need to encourage taking breaks, and we need to encourage for people to get moving. In this month's edition, I decided to include a little bit over breast cancer. Breast cancer remains the most common cancer among South African women, with 1 in 27 women likely to be diagnosed in their lifetime. October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and it's vital to share information on the prevention, treatment, and supportive resources that are available. So what is breast cancer? It's a disease where abnormal cells in the breasts grow uncontrollably, forming tumors. It actually, early detection, as indicated, is imperative. Some of the risk factors around our age, family history, obesity, alcohol and tobacco use, hormonal therapy that people may be on, radiation exposure, and things like that. The symptoms include lumps or thickening of the breasts or under the arms, change in breast size and shape, nipple discharge, especially bloody, and the skin changes. So you could get dimpling, rashes, or swelling, and things like that. please look for resources, supportive resources that can assist. Again, we can actually contact the EWP program or the Employee Wellness Program through Life Health Solutions and make sure that we get the correct help and necessary treatments and things like that, because it's not easy. It takes a lot out of people, and it takes a lot out of the families too. So I've just mentioned a few resources down here, but please check the internet. Also, please take note that breast cancer is not only for women. It also occurs in men. So men, please also look after yourselves. Let's now have a look at the habitat and climate, or habitat versus climate. So a habitat is a specific natural environment where an organism lives, grows, and thrives. It includes all the biotech, living, and abiotic, non-living factors that support survival and reproduction. Key components of a habitat: food, water, shelter, and space. Some of the examples: forest, home to the deers, the birds, the insects, and other creatures. Desert is adapted species that are able to live in that dry area. Cacti, lizards, different spiders, and also different insects. Wetlands, frogs, reeds, fish, etc. Coral reefs, we have tropical fish, sea turtles, we've also got eels that live there, a lot of different little organisms that are around and everything like that. Urban is us humans and the pigeons, the rats, etc. Now, climate refers to the long-term patterns of temperature, precipitation, humidity, and wind in that region. It determines the type of habitat that can exist in an area. So the main climate types are tropical, hot and humid. So if we think of that in South Africa, that would be Durban in December. Dry, arid with little rainfall. In South Africa, we could look at maybe the Highveld. So it's dry, but we do get quite a bit of rain. So, that's nice one. Temperatures. So moderate seasons. You will find if you go through to a forest, the temperature there under the trees is a lot colder. Or, given an example in our urban areas, or is that if you go into Joburg, the temperature, if you live in and around Randburg, Sandton, Roodepoort, or things like that, the temperatures in Joburg are a lot cooler than they are in your own hometown. Then if we have a look at the continental areas, temperatures. So you have hot summers and cold winters, large temperature variations between the seasons. Winters often bring snow, while summers can be quite humid. So in South Africa, we'd have to look at, we have cold winters in most of our areas, especially on the Highveld or in Gauteng, and in the in areas like Durban or even Limpopo, it doesn't get that cold. But if we have a look at continental areas, it's a difference between northern hemisphere and southern hemisphere as well. Let's have a look at polar. These are very cold all year round. So the winters can drop to minus 40 degrees Celsius. I don't think South Africans would survive there. And the summer temperatures really exceed 10 degrees centigrade. We would not actually appreciate that, I don't think, in South Africa. And how these two interact. So if we have a look at the climate shape habitats, for example, a tropical climate supports rainforest, while a polar climate supports tundra. Specific adaptation to both animals, plants evolve in their different habitats and climates. If you look overseas in northern countries, you will find that their winters, they get snow. We've had, in my lifetime, a handful of times when we've had snow. And the best one that I can remember was in the 80s, for those of us that were around. And we had thick snow on the ground that lasted, it only melted about 2 weeks afterwards. The snowman I'm talking about, the snow actually did go down a little bit. But if you happen to travel in the winter time through to the Drakensberg, you might be able, or even in the Cape sometimes, you will see snow-capped mountains and things like that, which is marvelous. Thank you for watching, and I hope you've enjoyed this month's edition. And if you have any comments, suggestions, queries, or challenges, please reach out to your OHS&E officer or email the team. This has been a presentation by Joanne Zastro, and my email address is available. Please shoot me an email if you want to chat about something or have ideas on how we can make this presentation a little bit more exciting. Bye for now.